For the first time in years, I switched from the iPhone 16 Pro Max to the Pro. And there's a lot of things you can say for and against that phone, but I have a lot to say about what that switch was actually like. So why did I do it? Why are so many other people doing it? And is it worth the change for you? I understand that this is a bit of a niche video. Most people aren't buying the iPhone 16 Pro Max and then returning it and then buying the 16 Pro. And while I'm focusing on that exact switch, this video also applies if you've had any other kind of Pro Max phone and you're considering the smaller screen of that 16 Pro when you upgrade. Or you have any other phone like the iPhone 13 mini, and now you're looking at the smallest Pro phone that you can get, and so you're upgrading. But let's start with my experience with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So here it is, the iPhone 16 Pro Max in all of its glory. A larger than ever 6.9-inch display, nearly 7 inches, at which point is wild. I think my first tablet ever, the BlackBerry Playbook, was actually a 7-inch tablet, so it's wild to see us approaching that size on a phone. The bezels, of course, are thinner, and it really is noticeable this year. It goes really bright, and the new and improved titanium colors are brighter than ever before. All of this packaged into a phone that's just 227 grams. If you're moving from the iPhone 15 Pro Max to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, this feels pretty much like last year's phone. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. It's relatively the same size phone, just with narrower bezels. It's really only noticeable when you pick it up and then accidentally open the camera with that new camera control button on the side. The button can press to launch the camera and then light press to bring up all of your camera controls. You can swipe along the buttons to zoom or control any of the camera's features, and then press harder to actually take a photo. Overall, once you get used to this can be handy, but so far I'm accidentally pressing it more than I'm meaning to actually use it. So I used this phone for a few weeks, and I very quickly realized this is the same phone. Sure, it's a little faster, a little brighter, but all around it's just a very big iPhone. It's difficult to reach the top of the phone and you have to awkwardly adjust your grip. It's really only comfortable to use with both hands, and other than that, you're not actually leveraging that extra space. Everything is just slightly scaled up, amounting to maybe one more line of text in some cases. And maybe it's the fact that I've spent so much time on the iPhone 13 mini, but it's very clear that the larger screen doesn't do anything different. So what about the iPhone 16 Pro? So this is the iPhone 16 Pro, and at first glance you might think it's the same. And for the first time, you'd actually be right. Apple decided for the first time to put the same tech into both the Pro and the Pro Max phones. So where you'd usually pack in a much better camera on the Pro Max or other Pro features, you get the same cameras, you get the same camera control feature, the same RAM, the same screen size, just in a more manageable 6.3-inch size. You know, the interesting thing about this change for me is that we used to look at the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the biggest iPhone, the best of the best iPhone that you can buy, as the top tier of what an iPhone could be. But now we're packing in that same tech into a smaller form factor down to 6.3 inches. And what I realized almost immediately is that if we're packing in the best tech into a shrunken down, smaller, more portable iPhone, then isn't that now arguably the best iPhone that you can buy? Now you get a phone where you can actually reach the edges. You get 48 megapixel cameras and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera. You get those thinner bezels and that camera control. You can actually feel the difference of 1 ounce lighter. You're saving money around $200, although in this case the Pro offers 128 gigs starting gigabytes and the Pro Max only offers 256 starting. So if you're comparing both of those at that storage level, it's really just $100 difference. I've spent a lot of time using both of these phones, both individually and then side by side while I had them both. And the really interesting point here is that if the Pro Max leveraged that screen size better, there would be a large selling point for it. And in my testing, that's just not the case. I found that in a lot of cases, you're getting 1, maybe 2 more lines of space in Safari. In a lot of cases, you're not getting any additional space at all. You're getting a little larger video size on YouTube. Your home screen doesn't fit anything additional, just including more space between your widgets and your icons. And overall, it provides a slightly larger keyboard that's suited for two-handed typing. I actually found it really refreshing to have a phone with the same Pro features I'm using in just a smaller form factor. I like that it's lighter, I like that it's still comfortable to type on two-handed, and with the option of one-handed when I need it. I guess the only real downside is a smaller battery, but whether that actually amounts to less screen time still needs to be tested, and I'll save that for a longer term review of this phone. So all of this testing told me something I sort of already knew, which is that I wanted a phone that I could use as a tool or a resource, something I could easily use with one hand, something I could respond to a text while doing other things, where I can change the music while walking my dog without requiring both hands. A phone that becomes an asset in my daily life, but doesn't consume my life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that this is an extremely portable one-handed phone, because I think the iPhone 13 mini was just the perfect size for everything that I'm explaining right now. But if you want the pro features of the latest iPhone, the ProMotion 120Hz display, and you want that in the smallest iPhone that you can buy, this is the one to get. If you want another video comparing what it's like to use this phone versus the iPhone 13 mini, let me know that down in the comments and I'll be sure to get to it. Also, let me know what phone you're going for this year. Are you upgrading at all? And if so, are you choosing between the Pro Max or maybe moving to the smaller Pro for the first time? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.